Tim wants to know about Paul, his imprisonment, and a message he had for Rome. So buckle up. This one's got a twist. All right. So before Paul was Paul, Paul was Saul. And Saul's whole job was hunting down Christians and tossing them in the pokey. Okay. You've heard of Dog the Bounty Hunter? Well, Saul was basically Dog the Christian Hunter. Except instead of a mullet and a taser, he had a letter from the high priest and a pretty bad attitude. Then he meets Jesus on the road to Damascus, gets knocked down a peg, yada, yada, yada. Everything changes, right? We know the story. Saul becomes Paul. The Christian persecutor becomes the biggest contributor to the New Testament. Years later, Paul's in Rome, under house arrest, chained to a Roman guard, round the clock. And from the Hooskow, Paul writes his letter to the Philippians. Here's what gets me. Paul doesn't know if he's walking out of there or not. And what does he write? Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again. Rejoice. Dude, you are in the clink. You know your goose is cooked. And you're there having a Hallmark moment. Right? I get cut off in traffic. And I have to bite my tongue before I wind up in confession again. Meanwhile, Paul's in actual chains, writing what scholars call his most joyful letter. The word joy shows up so many times in Philippians, you'd think the guy was on vacation, not on trial. That's the whole point. Paul wasn't happy because his circumstances were good. They were terrible. He was joyful because Rome couldn't do anything to suppress what mattered most, his faith in God. That's the message that he had for Rome. It wasn't come bail me out. It was, you can lock up the man, but you cannot lock up the joy. So next time your day is falling apart, remember somewhere in a Roman slammer, a guy who used to be everybody's worst nightmare wrote the most joyful letter in the whole New Testament with a guard chained to his wrist the whole time. If Paul can find joy in that, I think we can survive our next Facebook argument. Okay? Hey, y'all keep sending these viewer mail questions in. I actually learned something here. This was cool. I hope you did too. So stay prayed up. We'll see you next time back at the church. I'll save you a seat.